Well, hello everybody and happy Monday to all of you out there on Facebook and whatever platform you happen to be watching us today. Shannon with the Chamber of Commerce, and we're excited because we are bringing to you another installment August webinar series. We're pretty excited. Today we have a great group of business owners, spas and salons to talk about industry, what's been going on with COVID and getting them open, reopen, what status are they and stuff. But before we get started, there's a few things we'd like to say and a few people, organizations we'd like to thank. First and foremost, we want to thank our partners with the city of Albuquerque who are helping us with some PPE distribution that we're going to be doing. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Also want to thank our partners for the last 5 months. Big round of applause for New Mexico Tech because they are the little elves behind the scenes who keep us going. And if it wasn't for them, we don't know what we do every Monday and Wednesday as they tune in to help us really get focused on being better at everything that we do, webinar-based and virtual-based. So thank you, New Mexico Tech. And today we have a special treat from New Mexico Tech coming up, so we'll get to that in just a second. Also want to let everybody know this month's series is really about supporting local small business and not just supporting like we would normally with resources and opportunities and connections and all that fun stuff. We're really supporting in the world of PPE, guidelines, really making sure that they are comfortable, that they're opening up, and that they're making sure that the public knows what they're doing when opening up. And so it's important that they have that info to share that info with you. And so we are visiting all different industries this month, restaurants, hospitality, nonprofits, health and wellness, and today, spas and salons. So we'd like to get started. Want to start by introducing the panel. We are excited to have a great group of business owners with us today to talk about all kinds of different things, but we're going to get started with just a simple, quick introduction from everybody. And I'm going to just start with who is to my right on my screen, and that is Mr. Jim Dernicker. If you could tell us who you are and who you're with.
Yes, my name is Jim Dernicker. I'm the co-owner of True Rest Float Spa. The star of my business is actually my wife, Maria, who unfortunately couldn't be here, but we've been in business for about 3 years. And obviously in this time of stress, one of the main things that we do is offer stress relief by flotation therapy.
Thank you so much, Jim. Next, let's move to Janae. You're on mute, Janae. See, it's all this Zoom technology. We need.
All right, can you hear me now?
You're good now.
Okay, awesome. Hello, everybody. My name is Janae Sanchez. I'm the owner of Bella Costa Spa, and I have been in business now for 7 years. And we are definitely, with me and my team, taking a step above with this COVID-19 to ensure that we want our clients, new and current clients, to come in now feeling safe and to leave feeling safe. They get a good treatment, but they come in feeling great with the COVID, that we are doing practices for safe sanitation, and they leave feeling good with the treatment and that they feel safe.
Awesome. Thanks, Janae.
You're welcome.
Next we have with us Rachel Romero. Rachel, tell us about what you do.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rachel Romero. Like she just said, I go by Barberologist on all social medias. I am the owner of the Barberologist Lounge. I have been in business 2 years now, so super exciting. I am a private-owned studio, so when you hear barbershop, it's not your normal barbershop. I'm a private studio, so it's a very intimate setting, which I think really gives my clients the confidence knowing that they're coming in and it's just us. And, it's been really great for me after opening, so it's been really good.
Thank you. Sorry, I was looking for my mute button too. I wasn't ready for that. And we also have with us Miss Amanda Medina. Amanda, are you out there with us? I have you, I see you're muted and your camera's off, but I'm not sure if you're with us. If you are.
Hi, I'm figuring out my camera. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Amanda Medina. I'm the owner of Halo Med Spa. Hello, everybody.
Thanks, Amanda. And Angelique and New Mexico Tech can work with you a little behind the scenes to get your camera going. So if you guys want to
Thank you.
hit the chat button there and mute yourselves.
Okay.
And with us today, before we get started with the panelists, what we did this month was something we've, we hadn't really done before. We've been talking about COVID. We've been talking about best practices. We've done all kinds of stuff. But this month, we actually reached out to New Mexico Tech, and they sent us their best, from what I understand. I've been really excited to work with her the last week. She has really great knowledge and training on COVID and COVID safe practices and in different industries. So I'm really excited to have her on with us today. If you would be so kind as to tell us what you do, introduce yourself, of course, and then kind of take it away for a little bit, and let's kind of get the conversation going.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. My name is Mikkel Coleman, and I am the Director of Research Compliance for New Mexico Tech. It just so happens that lab safety and some other safety responsibilities fall under my office. And so what that means is a lot of the COVID safe practices and working with our community here to make sure we're following them has also fallen under my office. So just before I get started, if I could get a quick, from 1 to 5, 5 being most familiar, how familiar is everybody with the COVID safe practices Altogether New Mexico document? So 5 being most.
Say 4.
Okay. So I'm going to go over that a little bit today in my presentation, but I'm not going to dwell on it. Really, I'm going to put up some slides and I'll share these with the group as well. But it's really just a list of resources where you can get some more information on these topics if you're looking for it. So really, I'm here today to, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll try to answer them or point you in the right direction. But part of my role is just to try to work on getting our community and our employees and our students to maintain safety during this time. And so I'll share with you some of the resources and guidelines that I have for doing that. So I'll go ahead and put up some slides for you here. Okay, so as I said, I'm Director of Research Compliance for New Mexico Tech, and then I do have some training in specific safety management related to COVID-19. And I really kind of want to cover quickly 4 areas today for employers, bosses, supervisors, business owners. So you're going to want to look at your policies, procedures, and communication of those things. And I'm sure you're already right smack in the middle or well into dealing with all of this with your folks if you have employees at your business. And then, of course, the COVID safe practices put out by the state of New Mexico, which are super helpful. I've realized in talking to other people from different states, not every state has a document such as this that businesses can go to and get answers in such a quick manner. We do have some guidance from OSHA that as an employer, you're required to make sure that you maintain a healthy and safe workplace for folks. And then I also have some information on cleaning and disinfecting and resources on that. So first, as far as for those of you who do have employees, does anybody not have employees that they supervise at their business?
I don't.
Okay, so 1. So a lot of people in this area will. And as far as when you're looking at your policies and procedures, you want to make sure that you're communicating this effectively to your people. 1, so they understand what their responsibilities are, but 2, especially when we're talking about really cracking down on making sure people aren't coming to work sick, or even if they feel a little bit off, we want to make sure that people feel safe and supported in that decision, so they don't come to work thinking, well, I'm just going to be tough and do this for my clients or my employer. And all the while they're potentially exposing everyone at the business to this virus. So communication of safety protocols, making sure that if you're required to pay leave time for under the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, you can find the information here on the link I included to the Department of Labor. It doesn't apply to everyone. And then implement training on these new protocols and procedures, and then make sure that you record all the training, write it down, record it in whatever system you use, so that if anybody asks later, well, what training did you provide your employees and what safety protocols did you have in place, just have a record of it and make sure you know where it is so that you can provide that documentation to any potential regulator or inspector who might ask you for that documentation. And that's really, in the case that you do have a rapid response that's conducted by the Environment Department, if you have somebody, either a client or an employee who is infected with COVID-19 at your business. So first, we have our COVID safe practices. I will go through quickly here. All the industry specific areas will direct you back to this COVID safe practices for all employers section. And since everybody's real familiar with this document, I won't stay on it too long, but just important to note that even when you go down here to your specific area for your salons and spas, it will always direct you back up to all employers and practices for retail. And we can handle this document in the Q&A too, if you all like, but since everyone's read it, it's pretty straightforward. We're talking about distancing, managing traffic, managing materials or individuals that might be in your business in a different way. So then we also have a guidance that came out from OSHA, and I'll leave the link in. It's about a 35-page document, but really what it all comes down to is providing a workplace that's free from hazards. It also will take you through how to classify your business, your employees, by level of risk. Now, most of you will have a low level of risk because you have a lot of control over how many people you allow into your space and how, your communication to clients beforehand and making sure everybody understands what they need to do. So this is a document that's good to look at. The one thing I will note about hazards in the workplace is an additional hazard that people might not be used to is the cleaning and disinfection protocols. So depending on what kind of chemicals you're using for the cleaning and disinfection, you might be required to provide additional training and provide additional PPE, such as gloves or an apron or a gown, while people are conducting that required disinfection of your facility. So then that brings me to my next section. There's a bunch of different resources here for cleaning and disinfecting. The EPA put out a list of all sorts of different commercial disinfectants you can use. The CDC put out a document, which I'm sure many of you have already been looking at, as far as what's the difference between cleaning versus disinfecting, how do you properly do it. What it really all comes down to is it depends on what materials you're using. So the label should tell you how long it needs to sit, what surfaces it's appropriate for and will be effective on, and all the safety protocols that you're going to need to implement as far as gloves, potentially type of gloves. Not all types of gloves work with all types of chemicals. Some don't protect against certain types of chemicals. And then again, like I said before, you might need to provide additional PPE for your employees, depending on what chemicals you're using, if they're not already trained on those. So I will go ahead and just pull up a few of these documents. And again, all the links are here. So we have COVID safe practices. I have my nice little bookmarked version because I like to go through and I don't like to scroll through the entire document every time. This is the OSHA guidance. And I'll show you the table of contents. And you can see classifying worker exposure. And this is really just with regard to the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So then we have the CDC guidance, and the CDC guidance on cleaning and disinfecting is actually included as an appendix to the COVID safe practices document, which is nice. They include it right at the end for you so that you don't have to go searching. But it does link you out to the disinfectants that are approved for this particular use. It gives you 6 steps for safe and effective disinfectant use as a PDF that you can download. And then I also included in the slides, which I'll send out, the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. So New Mexico Tech, as a public state employer, is required to offer its employees specific types of paid leave. And it's just good to be familiar if you're subject to this or not. And I'm not your attorney, so I'm not gonna go ahead and give advice about whether you're subject to it or not. But if you are, you probably already know that you are. So with that, I thank you for the invitation today. I'll be hanging around to hear what everybody has to say. And please feel free to contact me if you have any questions.
Well, thank you, Mikkel. That was very helpful. And I think, you know, operators, owners, they know what they need to do. They're pretty on top of it for the most part. But I think what's exciting is when the public can see, hey, this is the training they're going through. These are the guidelines they're following. This is how and why I want to feel safe in their space. And those are the important ways that we can make the community feel comfortable and get out and support your businesses, get out and do the things we used to do prior to 5 months ago. It is okay to be out there because this is what they're doing to help you feel safe. And so with that, want to kind of just start kind of getting into things. We want to hear from you guys. You guys are the business owners. You guys are the ones that are at the front of this all day, every day in your business. So we're going to do some series of questions that kind of get to know you guys better, get to know the businesses better. And so I'm just going to kind of start on my opposite side this time. So I'm going to go over to Amanda first. And I want to just start with you, Amanda, you know, just a minute or two on what has been the biggest hurdle, the number one hurdle that you've had to overcome in the last 5 months. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
We have had to stagger all of our guests and just change the way that we, you know, take care of everybody more of an, you know, individually. So instead of seeing, you know, 16 people a day, now we're only seeing 8, and we've had to, you know, really cut back on that.
So I guess that basically comes down to waiting rooms and the way that, you know, you stagger appointments and all of that. So that's important to know. I've noticed that with simple things like getting your nails done, which I have not done in forever. But when you call, it's like you got to make these appointments ahead of time. And all of a sudden we're back into this routine of you got to plan your life out, which we didn't necessarily have. We were so used to
right.
in at the last minute, you know, so it's a little bit different for you on that. So Rachel, same question. We may have to have somebody unmute you, either Angelique or New Mexico Tech, if somebody can unmute Rachel. But same question to you, Rachel. What has been the biggest hurdle that you've had to overcome?
You know, all glory to God. I think the hardest thing was just being unemployed and not being able to be with my clients during this hard time. As a hairstylist and a barber, it's more than just the, you know, cutting hair aspect of it. We're really there, you know, supporting them mentally and everything. So I think for everybody in the industry, it was just kind of hard for us not to be able to be with our clients and have to stay home and, you know, get through that. So that's been the hardest thing for me. I've been super busy. Thanks to God for that as well. You know, as Amanda stated, you know, we definitely have had to cut our appointment times and our appointments. You know, our appointment times are definitely longer. So now we can sanitize. Before we were always cleaning, but now we have to let it sit, you know, 10 minutes or whatever X amount of time. So that kind of cuts into the appointment times. Luckily for me, like I stated earlier, I'm a private owned studio, so it's just myself at Sola where I have my studio. We aren't accepting any walk-ins, so it is by appointment only. Pretty much all of us were by appointment only to begin with though, so that didn't really change much. You know, everything that I'm doing to protect my clients is just kind of taking a step above. You know, I send a message out prior, making sure that they haven't traveled out of the state within 14 days. If they have, you know, to reschedule their appointment. You know, if they're having any symptoms, I provide a mask, I check their temperature, I provide hand sanitizer, a clean cape for every client. So, you know, just taking some extra precautions, but nothing really that is too, you know, hard or, you know, anything like that. As long as I get to work, I'll do whatever it takes. So
That's awesome. We're going to touch base a little bit on that because you did mention a few things that we have in an upcoming question. So we'll get back. So Janae, same question. I know that you were actually in the middle of a move, and actually Amanda too. It's so crazy, you guys. And we're going to touch base on this also in a little bit. But opening a new business during COVID is crazy. So Janae, tell us a little bit about what has been the biggest hurdle for you getting ready to reopen or open now. You're on mute, Miss Janae.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Now.
All right. So yes, as you know, I was in the middle of my move, my expansion to my new spa, January and February. It was about 70% done, and then COVID hit. Had to stop the clients, of course, and I just had to be thankful for my clients, and they were very supportive. I just let them know just to, you know, it'll be sooner than later. This is just temporary. Had to put my construction on a hold for a while. Also had to stop the hours. While we were completely closed, I did some tutorial videos to stay connected with the public and with my clients on skin regimens. And I also sold products to them. And then as the governor let us come back in, as you know, the other girls did say as well, we were at these shorter hours. So I did also, I have posts because on my training that me and my staff did with the Clean Touch with Dermalogica, as well as the Barberside 19, which we have our certifications. We have them in the office that are visible to ensure people that we are doing safe practices, as well as we sent a COVID-19 form to them when they 24 hours before they come in to ensure that they are filling out all the COVID forms, temperature checks, sanitizer before they come in. Now that we're back in, I'm blessed, very, very busy. We're still at, shorter hours, but everybody's just been really patient and kind. And we're busy and just chucking along, so my grand opening is going to be soon, and I'm going to be moving, and I'm super excited for that. We're just getting over the hurdles,
Well, thank you, Janae. And I know you were literally moving and opening your doors to your new location when this happened. So, but we are definitely going to come back to that question. So I I appreciate that. Now, Jim, you guys were closed for quite a while, so I venture to say I know what your hurdle was, but tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've been doing in this past few months.
Well, as you said, we were closed down right away, which of course was a major impact, but I have to thank our membership individuals that really stuck with us, which we really helped. You know, our business already, hygiene is a very high standard in our spa already, because it's very important that we keep the spa at a very clean level. So we just added a few things to bring ourselves to more of a compliance to make sure that we reduce the risk of the transference of coronavirus. And, you know, Maria and I both have a medical background. So Maria right away put together a set of protocols and a booklet for our employees that by the time the state said you need to put this together, Maria already had it put together in compliance. And like many of the other people, we're making sure that we can do things offline. So a number of the forms that we usually have them sign in the spa, we're now doing online before they come in. We have a series of questions that we ask to make sure that they don't have symptoms. We do temperature checks, and then obviously we're making sure that everyone does the social distancing, wearing the masks, all the appropriate things to keep ourselves, our employees, and the community safe.
Well, thank you, Jim. And I know, you know, you and Maria do have a medical background. I know that for that time you were closed, we can't say thank you enough to our first responders, but you and Maria went back into the field. You went back into the hospitals, you went back, and you guys really were frontline workers during COVID. So kudos. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys got to reopen again. And I recommend, obviously, if you have not had the privilege of floating in an amazing spa, you definitely visit a True Rest Float Spa. They'll take care of you. So with that being said, I'm going to just stick with you, Jim. We'll go back around the other way. What have been some of the financial constraints? Because now there is things that are happening out there. I know that, you know, there's new PPE supplies you have to provide. You've had to adjust hours, which means adjust clients. And what's the financial impact been for you guys?
Well, it's been a real roller coaster. I mean, when we shut down, our income basically went to zero. But most importantly, I mean, this is the whole thing with the COVID-19 is that it's a balance between livelihood and lives. And Maria and I obviously feel very important that first and foremost, we need to protect lives. And if that means we need to take a bit of a hit financially, that's what we're going to do to make sure that we keep ourselves, our employees, and our community as safe as possible. So while that's true, I mean, once we've opened up, I have to say that we've been very fortunate that people are coming back, people are being compliant, people are working with us. So our business is really coming back very nicely. But again, we're going to keep our values and that we're going to do what's right for people's lives over livelihood.
Thank you, Jim. And I'm going to come around to all of you. Same question for all of you. You know, what has been the financial burden, and have you guys applied for any loans? Like, where are you at? So I'm going to swing over to Amanda next to kind of fall in there and see if you've been able to, you know, what has been the financial impact? We can all imagine, but I think them hearing it, the public hearing it from you guys makes a difference. We can say it all day long, but when we hear that business owners are going through this, it makes a difference. So Amanda, please, take over there. Got it? You're on mute. You're still on mute. There we go.
I would just say, you know, we did get our PPP loan. We applied for grants. We applied for, you know, everything possible. We didn't get much help. The only thing that we struggled with was paying rent when there was no income coming in. And so we played a little bit of catch up, but we've been able to, you know, stay steady and stay on top of things. So hopefully, you know, we just go forward with it and don't have to close again.
Well, I think, you know, it's hard to say. Nobody can say what the state is going to do at any given time, but I'm hoping that because, you know, everybody has been practicing those guidelines and they're doing the things that are important. I hope that we don't see any more closures. As a matter of fact, I hope we see a whole lot of more openings coming up. So that's great. What about you, Rachel? Now, you're in a little different circumstances. You're like a solopreneur, so I know that you have a little bit different, but have you been able to get any funding, any help? Where are you at in reopening?
Rachel, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay, so yeah, as a sole proprietor, you know, being self-employed, for any self-employed person, we weren't even allowed to apply for unemployment until like the second week of May, I think it was. So it was definitely a hard hit for me financially. I'm thankful that, you know, being at the studio isn't my only source of income. So I'm also an educator for Conair, which I educate all over the United States, teaching people how to cut hair with our clippers. So that was, you know, something that I had, you know, on the side, which was really good for me. My landlord definitely worked with us, so I'm very blessed for that. Definitely having to buy more PPE. Like I said, I am supplying masks and everything like that, but it wasn't too much of a hard hit. I was finally able to get the unemployment. I did apply for a couple of loans and grants, but I think because my business was so new and I didn't really have employees, I was kind of overlooked. But I did receive like a local grant when they had put out like a little stimulus through the Department of Workforce. I think it was through New Mexico. It wasn't like a federal thing or anything like that. And it was just to help the self-employed sole proprietor people because we weren't able to get the unemployment at the time. So that was really nice. That helped me. You know, I bought a couple of newer things. I do facial steamers and things like that. So I just bought me a new steamer for the ozone facials and everything like that. So it really helped me, you know, and I'm thankful that it was available to us, but thankfully, like not having employees and everything like that was definitely easy for me and made it not as stressful.
Well, and I mean, I guess in every way we look at things, there's some silver lining somewhere. So, I mean, for some people that worked out great, but then there is people who had employees like Miss Janae. And so, Janae, if you can tell us, you know, definitely, you know, what has been some of the financial burden? And then again, with you opening a new location, about that. You're still on mute.
All right, you can hear me now. All right. So yes, you know, when this COVID hit, I was at my prime and I was excited about my construction and everything, and all of a sudden it was like, whoa, what is going on? I think we all felt this, like, is this a bad dream or what is really going on? And, you know, I really had to just sit there and have faith, you know, and just apply, just look for assistance. And I have blessings with that because I did get approved for a PPP loan. And just trying to think outside the box, you know, doing those, the webinars that I did, the tutorials and stuff to still sell my skin regimen, my products and stuff really helped with that. I have some good companies that I work with, you know, my Schedulicity and Skin Medica. They also did some really awesome stuff for their people to allow people to get products and to not take as much of the profit off of that. So there were certain ways, is really just thinking outside of the box and just, you know, keeping that perseverance and that push, you know, and with the loan helped, you know, my rent, thank goodness for that, to pay my rent. And now that, you know, we're back in, I'm busy, shorter hours, but I'm blessed, and we're just moving along, you know. We just got to one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, that is such a truth right now. Total one foot together. So here's an interesting question. All of this has happened in the last, you know, 5 months or whatever, 4 to 5 months. Has there been a new product or service that you guys have implemented because of COVID? Maybe something you wouldn't have done before. And the reason we bring it up is because, you know, I've been bombarded with emails, and there's a national chain out there that's encouraging you to come in for your COVID massages. And so I'm just wondering, what have been some of the changes to your services or any new services that you've offered that maybe you have the time to think it out, or you've created it because of the pandemic, or just like I said, for us, it's been we have time to actually do other things, and not because of the pandemic, but because of the pandemic, we have time. And so, what have been some of those? So, Jim, let's start with you.
I think the most important thing was when we were closed, Maria started to do a number of different videos to help people with stress management and how to handle the stress. My role was more because my background is emergency medicine, that I was trying to provide some medical guidance to help people understand what the COVID-19 is and what the disease and what we can do to reduce the risk. We did a number of educational kinds of things. So that once we opened up, people then could use that knowledge to come back in and work with us at the spot.
So that is awesome, Jim, and thank you for sharing that, because Maria's really good at social media, and she's got a great team of everybody that supports that. And so I appreciate that, and I love hearing about some of those little tidbits. And that is a really great idea. So getting more out on social media and making people aware and keeping your relevancy in the community and in social media going, so that now that you're open, everybody races to your doors, Jim.
I hope so.
What about you, Rachel? What is something new that you're doing, maybe that you weren't doing a few months ago? You're on mute again, my friend. I know, guys, it's so difficult. You know, we're used to just talking. I do it all the time. We forget that mute button.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm so sorry. So, you know, I offer men and women services, and I do a lot of package deals with facials and massage, not your typical, you know, masseuse massage, but when I'm doing facials and things like that, I massage their scalp with the women when they come in for a haircut or a blowout. I'm massaging their shoulders and their arms, just really trying to make them relax and just feel comfortable. And just, you know, with all the stress going on in the world, the last place I want them to be stressed out at is my business, you know, so I just really like making them feel comfortable. I bought an aromatherapy infuser that has aroma oils with different essential oils. So I think they really like that as well. I've also been infusing my hot towels with aromatherapy and things like that as well too, just to kind of calm them down a little bit more and just really make them feel comfortable being there.
Janae, so you probably have new services just because you have a new and bigger location, but tell us something that's new to your service menu. You're on mute.
Again, all righty. So I got Best of Groupon last year, and with my campaigns, what I'm adding now is a COVID banner with safe practices, just to make them feel comfortable so that they know when they're going to purchase something that I am taking proper steps, as well as when they do purchase something, a Spa and Wellness year membership is added to that. And with that, it's an extra little incentive to tell them, hey, come see us, let us service you, and thank you for being our client. And with that, they get extra discounts throughout the year that they wouldn't before on certain things. As well as when we were off, you know, we couldn't do services. So I thought, well, I want to give back to my clients. So I would run specials with gift certificates where they can pay online with me, and then they would get an additional 30% off. I ran one for a additional 40% off. So they looked forward to knowing that once everything opened back up yet, they had these certificates already ready to come in. I do have a nice calming environment. We do have the essential oils, the scentsies going on. I try to put flowers a lot, you know, just to make it a happy place when people come in, because that's what they're coming for. You know, at the end of the day, these people work hard, whether they're women or men, single or not. They come in for a service, and they want to come in and they want to feel pampered. They want to feel special. And right now, you know, it's been a stressful time with COVID with everybody. So I like it to be like their little oasis when they come in, and they leave feeling a peace, a calmness.
Yeah, the one other thing that, just if I can break in here, that Maria and I did, mostly Maria's guidance, is that we gave away a number of floats to frontline individuals. We gave over 100 floats to people to help support them through the difficult times that they're going through. The front line's been pretty hard. That's where I work, and anything that you can do to support them is appreciated, and that's one of the things that we try to do.
Yeah, so we had a great program with Maria and team called Float the Front Lines. And we spent the month of June supporting in partnership with the Gladiators, in partnership with Pepsi, in partnership with Signature Sweets, Lisa down there, amazing. And these guys were, every day they were delivering flowers and popcorn from Carnivore and Pepsi products. And most importantly, dozens and dozens of spa treatments to frontline workers. And so that's kind of a testament for everybody out there watching, and definitely for our panel. When you guys have an idea, reach out to the Hispano Chamber. We are totally open to possible collaborations with the community in so many different ways, and most importantly with our members. And what was really cool was when Maria called, she goes, I have this idea. We'd been doing Feed the Front Lines, and we turned it into Float the Front Lines, and we had a good time with it. And it was just really amazing to see what Maria had and Jim had done with their time being closed down and supporting the front lines. They are nurses and nurse practitioners and all the different things that they already were doing, plus running a business. So it was really exciting. We appreciate Jim and Maria a lot here at the Chamber. So thank you guys for that great idea. And again, we're excited, and we'll continue to do so. If you guys have a great idea out there, reach out. And so what I wanted to say was, unfortunately, poor Amanda is trying to log back on. She's having, I guess, what we would call technical difficulties. But I do want to, when we get time for her, I want to close up and make sure that we talk about one thing that's going on with her. And it's kind of for Janae as well. So here we are, guys. We're right about COVID, and Amanda's moving to a new location and she's opening up, and Janae's moving to a new location and they're opening up, and then boom, this hits. And so it's like, not only does it hit, you guys were closed. So let's talk a little bit, Janae, about now you're reopening. Let's talk about your new location. Where are you located? And I know we're going to try to do a big grand opening, but until the guidelines and the orders get lifted a little bit, we're kind of do virtual. So please take a minute and share with us that info, and then I'll do that for Halo Med Spa.
Okay, awesome. Sure. So my new location is going to be on Coors by Coors and Delaney. So it's very close to Coors and Montano. I'm super excited. Great location. I'm expanding from 4 rooms to 8 rooms. I'm also, I now have a nurse practitioner, so I am med spa. My nurse practitioner, Rhonda, is amazing. Bless her heart. She also went back to the front lines while the COVID was going on, and she felt like she needed to do that, being an NP for over 15 years. So she's going to be coming in. I'm hiring 2 more girls. So I'm going to have an awesome staff of 6 women, 6 independent, strong, beautiful women that want to bring people in and give them a great treatment. New services to come as well. So I'm super excited. Yeah, super excited. Like you said, there's going to be a little bit of a different grand opening to start. I still may do something a little bit more personable where they can book an opening and I do a little mini tour, individual with them. And then once this all clears the air, I'll have another grand opening with everybody. So I'm super excited. Yeah.
We're going to see if we can do some sort of a virtual. We're working on that because it's pretty crazy how many businesses opened during COVID. They were already building, they were doing their build outs, and it's not just in spas and salons, but it's been other businesses that have been opening other industries. And so that's what we do here is do our best to support. So we're going to come up with something creative. And speaking of, same thing with Amanda Medina, who moved from her location over off of San Mateo, who is now currently pretty much on Central and Rio Grande, right behind the Walgreens. screens there in her new location as well. And then of course this hit and she was closed, although they are open, fully functioning now, of course at a different capacity. But you know, if you're in that area and you would, just like Janae, and you would like to have some medical spa treatments done, please reach out to these ladies so that you can get their menu, visit them at their websites, and go from there. So as we start to wind down the hour, I kind of want to close up a little bit with kind of an important question, I believe. And sometimes this isn't just about your industry. This is a little bit about what it is that you as a person have discovered. So what is it during this last, I would say, again, we kind of say 4 or 5 months loosely, but what have you learned? What have you learned that you've either implemented in your personal life or your business life to change the way that you do things day to day? What have you either improved upon or what have you learned? And let's just start with Jim.
Well, I guess the lesson that I hope that people understand is that while we're a country of individuals, that there are times when we need to pull together. And probably the most important thing that all of us can do to help small businesses in our area is to do the right things of social distance and proper hygiene and hand washing and all these things, because if you do that, then small businesses can flourish because they can open and they can take care of customers. And that this is not a political problem, this is a medical problem. And that wearing a mask, washing your hands, social distancing is not a political statement. It's a statement of how we can treat each other properly and help each other out and pull together as a community and move forward. That's what this is all about.
And thank you so much, Jim, for bringing that up, because, you know, one thing that we are super, you know, we really talk about here quite a bit is, guys, let's make reopening and opening and staying open for local businesses as easy as possible. You cannot imagine, if you are not a small business owner, what they have to go through, what they have to be cognizant of, what they have to be always on top of, watching out for not just their clients, their employees as well, and themselves as well, to stay healthy, happy. And one of those is wear your mask. If that is the way that we're going to keep them open and happy and healthy, then we have to do that, because it is very hard for a small business owner to try to police. And we get it. I am so uncomfortable. I get the mask thing. I'm like, you know, we're all trying to breathe through it. But if you could just for a moment put yourselves in their shoes, you would understand. And so even if it's just for a few minutes, please, 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 we encourage you to wear your mask when visiting small businesses. Super important. So I'm going to move over to Rachel really quick. Rachel, you're on mute, so I'm going to give you a heads up before I call on you. But the same thing, what has been a lesson you've learned that either you implemented personally or you've implemented through your business during this time?
You know, I think the gentleman before me made great points, and, you know, mindset is everything. You know, we had a lot of time off, even though it was a hard time for us. You know, how people use their time, like Janae said, you know, she thought outside of the box. Things like that are just really important. You know, you don't want to have a negative outlook on things, because then it's just going to make everything around you be negative. So having that positive mindset, which I know is a pretty simple thing to say, but it's honestly very hard to do on a day-to-day basis, makes a huge difference, you know. And just taking care of yourself as well. As us being in the industry where we're constantly giving to people, we forget to give to ourselves, you know. So really taking that self-care and taking it important and seriously, and taking care of yourselves and your people around you. Love your neighbors, you know, and have respect for one another. I think, as simple as that sounds, it was something that really opened people's eyes during these last 5 months, that it's not as simple as it is. So, you know, just a reminder to just love yourself and love your neighbors.
Very well said, Rachel. I love that. Thank you so much for that. And so, Janae, same question for you. What has been the one lesson? What is the one thing that you're now doing either in your everyday life or in your business life because of this?
So, you know, when this all hit, being so busy as a businesswoman, a business owner, male or female, we all know this. And sometimes we not tend to forget about our personal life, but the balance goes off. So I think with me, it was bringing everything back to basics and kind of being humble again to, yes, what matters, what doesn't matter, business, family, personal, and getting that balance. And also with the mask and everything, like everybody said, doing our due diligence and just putting on the mask and doing what we're supposed to be doing to pull together, because the quicker that we do this and we all come together as a team, the quicker this is going to start going away and we're going to all start going back to normal. So I think just being kind to others, and respecting each other, and as you do that, it comes back to you in return. So it's just that the caring, you show that you care, you give to other people, you speak, and being passionate that we all are in this together.
So thank you for saying that, Janae. And I wanna say, we've been doing webinars for quite a while, and actually had a great webinar last week. We got to meet with several restaurant owners in the area, and we kind of asked the same question, give or take. And I want to say it because I think it's important. We're the Hispano Chamber. Our mission is economic development. We're a small business organization, and no matter what, I want to bring it back. But what I love about this is that I can tell I'm working with people within the wellness community, because you guys have a different view of life. You have a different way of how you view everybody out there. And so I want to bring up what some of the restaurant owners said. Actually, quite a few of them said the one thing that they learned, because again, bringing it back to business, is that financial preparation. And who would have ever thought that the world would shut down, that our community would shut down, that 4 or 5 months later, we would still be sitting here going, wow, we can't walk into a restaurant or a movie theater or whatever it is that's out there, a sporting event. So it's been real interesting on that side. And I've had several people say to me, I would have never thought, and I probably never would have planned, but moving forward, I will never be caught, off guard again by the seat of my pants, because literally our income stopped. The second that door closed, we were out. And so I think that a lot of people have learned that financial planning is super important. What does that look like? I don't know. It's your business, better than anybody. But it was real interesting, some of the conversations that we took away from that webinar, and how they were looking to build and support themselves in the future, and in case of emergency. And sometimes it's not COVID, sometimes it's personal. Sometimes there's a death or a change in your personal life, or a business, moving from one location to another. And all of those can tend to create a financial burden and stress. So I hope that we all learned that too, because we want you guys to be successful. We need you guys to be successful here at the Hispano Chamber, because that is what we do. We want to make sure that we are here to support you, and that you are there to be supported. So with that being said, I want to get how to find you guys online, and how to find you at your location. So I want to start with Jim. If you could just close us up with, what is your location, and what are your current hours of operation, and how can we find you online?
Well, if you go to True Rest Float Spa Albuquerque, you'll find us. Because I'm going to give you the directions according to my son, because everything is where the Chick-fil-A is. We are at Paseo del Norte and San Marcos, right behind the Chick-fil-A. So that's where our location is. And that we've been there for 3 years, and you can see the sign right from Paseo del Norte. So we look forward to all of you coming down and floating with us, so you can get some of our relaxation therapy.
Well, Jim, I'm so excited that you guys are still there. We were there 3 years ago for your grand opening. We're going to continue to be there. We are so thankful for everything that you and Maria are doing and have done in the community during this time. Very giving, and we hope that you, like I said, your doors are being knocked on regularly. And thank you guys so much for everything you do. Rachel, tell us where to find you online. Where are you located, and what are your new hours?
All right, so on all of social media, Facebook, Instagram, I'm barberologist. So it's a barber and cosmetologist put together. That's my logo behind me. So if you see that, you found the right person. I am located at Indian School in Louisiana in the Park Square shopping center inside of Sola Salons. like I said, we aren't taking walk-ins. So if you do walk up, the door is going to be locked. So all of my information to call, I have an online booking system that's called Squire, and all of that is found if you just Google the Barberologist Lounge, or if you look me up, Barberologist, on Instagram or on Facebook.
Great. Thank you so much, Rachel. And you're in a really good location there. So if you guys are in that area and you need somebody amazing to do your hair, reach out to Rachel. Janae, how can we find you? What is your new location? What is your website? What is all your social media info? You're on mute again, my friend.
You can find me. I have a website, which is bellicosaspa.com. I also have Groupon that you can go through Groupon under Bellicosa Spa with services there. And you can also, I have a Facebook as well. So you can message me through Facebook to book an appointment. You can call the office. Right now, I'm going to still be at Atrisco Drive, which is between Sequoia and St. Joseph's, for the next couple weeks out. And then I will be moving to 5109 Coors, and that's on North Coors and Delaney, right by the Montano. And the hours right now are going to be Tuesday through Thursday, 2 to 6 p.m. Fridays are going to be from 2 to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 to 3.
Great. Thank you so much, Janae. And I would like to touch base for our friends at Halo Med Spa, Amanda and team. Amanda just moved. You can find her new location at 203 Rio Grande Boulevard, right pretty much on the corner, give or take, of Central and Rio Grande, behind the Walgreens there. And you can also reach out to them, schedule your appointments, find out their list of services at Halo Med Spa abq.com. That's HALO, Halo Med Spa abq.com. So I want to thank everybody today for joining us. I definitely want to thank our partners at New Mexico Tech, McAllen team. Thank you so much, guys. We will be back on Wednesday at the noon hour. So grab your sack lunch, sit down, have lunch with us. We'll be bringing to you another industry. And I just wish I had it off the top of my head, but it's amazing me. I think we're doing retail on Wednesday. Don't quote me though, I could be wrong. But we're excited to speak with another group of business owners. We hope you guys join us, learn more about the businesses in our area, in our community, so you can get out and visit them and help us open safe and open together. You guys have a great Monday and a great week, and we will see everybody on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.